Laurie Huston's News for the Heart is dedicated to helping you give a voice to your own soul. Our hearts have the power to free us from pain and the struggles that keep us from awakening to our true essence. Join Laurie now as we delve into our heart and soul to find the path that will open us to the possibilities and lead us to the life we love to live.
And good afternoon. This is News for the Heart. Well, Happy New Year. It is the second Tuesday of the month, which means I have my awesome co-host, Tracy McBurney, with me. Well, and this is the first show of the new year. So thank you for being here, Trace.
Thank you. Hopefully my voice holds up for this whole thing.
Yes, hopefully. So we thought we'd start with being in the flow and out of the flow. Because that, well, I think when we get overwhelmed, most of the time when we're overwhelmed, we're definitely out of the flow. But yeah, so there's some things we can do and some things we can understand. And take it away, Trace, because this is part of your experience stuff.
Okay, so, well, as I said to you, I had no idea. There I was at the post office, out of flow at the post office. And not really knowing what I was going to speak about today, what I was going to talk about, what the topic was going to be. And you have this giant line at the post office. Anyway, I'm driving back. I'm late, clearly late. We have permit parking on the street. So I have a deal. I have a setup with the universe, which helped me to not worry so much about the permit parking on our street once I figured that out. So, I mean, that was kind of one of the things to say today, is I used to worry a lot about getting parking on the street, especially in the winter, because we've got parking spaces that are taken up with big snow piles and ice piles, and then you don't have cars parking. And there's less places for cars to park. And we don't have a back area. We don't have a driveway. We don't have any of that. So I spent maybe the first 10 years of being here kind of in a consistent kind of like, oh, going to have a spot. Am I going to have a spot? And, you know, I usually did have a spot, but there was a lot of, am I going to have a spot? And then I just kind of went, wait a minute. This is an awful lot of worrying about something. I don't want to worry about all of this stuff. I just want to trust. I just want to trust, and I want to have faith. And I heard very clearly, like there on me, my brilliant kind of spiritual mind, I just want to trust. I just want to have faith. But then I hear something just come in and say, well, what do you want? What do you want? And I'm like, the simple answer back to what was talking in my head, I'm thinking of the fridge magnet. My girlfriends have a fridge magnet they gave me years ago. It says, you're just jealous the voices talk to me. Just thinking about that right now. Anyway, so that was the first piece is, well, what do you want? Well, I want a parking space in front of my house. When? Well, when I come home. When I come home. Well, how far? And so there were these questions that were coming in. Well, how far away from your home? Well, I'm thinking reasonable, consider within 5 cars of my house. Within 5 cars of my house. Okay. Is that what you want? That's what I want. So all the time when you come, all the time when I come home. So anytime that I come home, I just like a parking space to show up within 5 cars of my house anytime I'm coming up to come home. And then it's like the next thing. Well, so you done? In other words, it was almost like this sense of, can we close that off? Can we close off that request? Can we close off that deal? Can we close off that thinking? Yeah. Okay. And so that's my thing. So instead of, and that's my thing. That is my thing. That is what I say. Oh, I don't worry about that anymore. I know there's going to be a parking space that shows up in front of my house within 5 houses of my house. I just know. And that's what I just say. That's the fancy word postulate. I love that word postulate. That's the belief. That's the postulate that I work from right now. Nice. And that I've worked from for the last 10 years, the postulate. Rather than, oh my God, I'm so good. Like, is there going to be a spot? Oh, I hope, if the spot's all the way down the street and I've got to carry all those groceries. So rather than all of that dialogue, that's gone. And now it's just, there's always going to parking space within 5 houses of my street, of my house. Okay. So that was it. The postulate, the deal, the universe and I working together in flow. That's what's been organized. And now I really don't worry about it. I don't worry about it. I just trust. I have faith. I've set it up. I've set it up with the universe.
Nice.
Okay. How it's going to work. Doesn't that sound a little arrogant? It does sound a little arrogant. I've set up how it's going to work. So fast forward today. Don't even think about it. I don't even think about coming home. I don't even think about parking spaces until I get hijacked with crazy town stuff like the ice that's been going on in the last, and literally I'm out the nights that it's happening. I'm shoveling all this stuff that they just plowed in front of our street. And my husband's going, why are you doing that? It's going to rain tomorrow. It's going to rain. No, that's going to be so much heavier. I've got to shovel this out. I have a low car. I've got a car that's like really low. It's never going to get over these banks. All of these other cars on the street that can just drive into these, smash them all and have such a lovely time. That's not my car. I've got to clean those all out, within this space, like 3 or 4 houses of my car, so that I can get in. So again, there's the worry. Like I got to clear all of this out because I've got one of these little cars when everybody else has got these bigger cars so they can smash through these things, but that's not me. So I shoveled all that out. And it was not easy because it was really heavy snow. Yeah. And my husband's just kind of scratching his head going, okay, you just go nuts and do that, because he knows I like to shovel snow, but this was not fun. So I guess that's part of this year little inkling of mistrust, or the little inkling of, but now most of the ice craziness on our street is gone. So it's like it's all kind of calmed down into regular routine of 5 houses away from my house, and it's all good. As long as I plow them out, as long as I dig them out. How is it possible for the universe to do this if I don't dig them out? And nobody else is digging them out. So I'm coming home today not really thinking about it. I'm almost late for this show, and I come along, and there's no spot. There's no spot on the street. Not before my house, not after my house, all the way to the sidewalk of the stop sign, which is 3 cars from my house, by the way, now that I've looked at it. 3 cars from my house, the stop sign. And I see a spot, a little spot, just beyond the stop sign, just beyond the street, still my street, but just on the other side. I see a little spot very close to the crosswalk, and I'm going, no, that's not a spot. Damn, that's not a spot. So I circle around to do this whole thing again, and very slowly looking at every single spot to make sure that, and I'm seeing driveway, handicap spot, and there's just nothing. And I come up again past my house, and I look at that little spot. I'm also thinking to myself, I am out of flow. I'm out of flow, and this is absolute evidence that I am out of flow. That this contract, this deal, this beautiful arrangement that I have with the universe, it's not working today. And I am clearly out of flow. And there's been a couple of other things that have happened today where I've shown myself, wow, you're just not present. You're only half out of bed. Like whatever that is, only half out of bed. But this time, because now I'm going, I am late for the show. I go, well, let me just cross the street. Let me just go to the other side, and let me just see if this could be a spot, this littler spot. And it turns out that it can absolutely be a spot. And I've left enough room for the guy, and I'm not on the crossroad. So it was the spot that was always there. Right. So then as I'm walking back, thinking initially for this radio show, it's going to be the story of me being out of flow, and me being out of flow with my lovely contract, and me being out of flow with my lovely deal with the universe. And then I realized, and something just makes me aware that this is 5 cars away from my house. It's just 5 cars away on the other side of the street. And actually, really, it's actually 4 cars away, because it only is 3 cars that's going to fit for, right? And I'm just going, holy crap. I never saw that, nor did I ever intend it. I never intended for it to be 5 cars up the other side. Could have been, but it's not the way I envisioned it. But it's the way the universe threw it out. So then this really isn't a story to tell on a radio show about me being out of flow and my deal with the universe and wasn't complied with, and it was never. And then I thought, well, it still is a story of being out of flow. I'm out of clarity. I'm not seeing clearly enough. I'm not seeing clearly enough to say to myself, oh, the universe did answer my prayer. It did give me what I want. I was not specific. I didn't say 5 cars away from my house heading south. I just said 5 cars away from my house.
Right.
And there's only 2 directions it can be, north or south, because you're not going to park in somebody's front yard. So then I went, I did get what I wanted. I did get what I asked for. But I'm still out of flow because I couldn't see it.
Right.
Until I could see it. Until I got kind of desperate enough to say, I'm just going to try that spot that doesn't look like a spot before I have to go way up the street, which would seriously not be in compliance with my deal. And here I am with my story. So, do I see myself as out of flow? Yes. Can I feel it? Yes. I can feel it. For me right now, I feel like it's a day, maybe a day when people might feel like, oh, I'm half here, I'm half still in bed. like my brain is not flying on all cylinders. I have a bit of a sinus cold. I'm not so sure that that's the scoop. And it's interesting that you and I, before this show, started to talk about Donna Eden. And her hand postures and the things she does to help bring people into energy balance. And I was thinking to myself, as I was coming in, going, you know, my head's just not in the game, like totally. Like my clarity, my eyeballs are not totally in the game with my head or my brain or whatever, and I just didn't see this. And I was thinking about BodyTalk. Not Donna Eden at this point, but I was thinking about BodyTalk, and I was thinking about something called cortices. And it is the one BodyTalk posture that Dr. Veldheim, who designed all of this in BodyTalk, said, give it out to all the BodyTalk people, give it out to the world. He thought it was so important for people to have the brain, head-brain balanced, that he didn't want to withhold this piece of information. And so he wanted it sent out worldwide. So any BodyTalk practitioner that had learned it at any time had absolute permission to set up a YouTube channel or whatever it was and give it away. And he wanted it. He wanted people around the globe to really go, this is a really hand-breathing posture technique from BodyTalk that helps to balance the brain. It helps to bring the brain back into connection with the heart, back into connection with the gut, back into connection with the body, and out of bed, so to speak. So, although we're a radio show, so we can't actually show anything live on video, for anybody that's listening to the show, BodyTalk cortices, like you can just look up cortices, cortices, cortices. I don't believe there's a U in it. Anyway, BodyTalk cortices, taught by him or taught by any practitioner worldwide that's doing it. It's a very simple technique. And it is a series of postures where your hand lays out all the way along these different places in the head. And it's the same BodyTalk tapping, the infamous BodyTalk tapping, where you're gently tapping on the top of your head, you're gently tapping on your heart, you're gently tapping on your belly, which is all the master brains. And anyway, haven't had a chance to do it yet because I was kind of running to the show. But that's exactly what I would be doing, is doing that cortices technique and wondering if that's going to help my brain to come out of bed.
Right.
Be more in body. And who knows, it might actually help all the mucus kind of, start to send itself, elsewhere other than stuck in the top of my head. Anyway, So there you go. There's my thought, this idea of, and another way to say it would be in flow or online. I'm not as online as I normally am. I'm not as, somebody might say, I'm not as connected as I normally am. I'm not as locked in as I normally am. I'm not like, people have all sorts of verbiage, I guess, for this feeling that I'm feeling right now, which is, or do I feel beside myself? I don't feel beside myself. I just feel a little, yeah, just not as present, not as present as I want to be, not as focused or as online as I normally am. And what's taken me offline, I don't know. I've been doing a bit of a parasite cleanse over the last little while. They can take you offline. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of things that can take us offline.
Well, last month we fixed my offline from the shock of having to move. So we can go offline on all sorts of things.
Yeah, and it's an interesting thing to talk about, right? Because we spend so much time wanting to get our cell phones back online, our computers back online, screaming at Bell, you know, blah, 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 the cost of being online, right? And really just not really paying much attention to the technology of us. Yeah. And what can put us offline. And me, I think chemicals can do that. I think some foods can do that. Emotions can certainly do that. You know, people kind of courting into you or connecting in and maybe not doing it harmfully, but being needy, you know, creating cords and being needy, and that can kind of set you offline. And the most common, so I've heard, the most common places for that to happen are the back of the neck, the heart, the gut, like the navel area. And I think that can, I know that can put us offline.
Right.
That can really just have us managing more than ourselves.
Right.
So
yeah,
at this point, I'm not clear. I'm just clear that I've got a bit of a cold. So maybe bugs have put me offline a little bit. Doing the parasite cleanse, so the chemicals of that can put me offline. Yeah, I haven't investigated it. I've just owned it. I am a little offline. I'm a little out of sorts, and I got a radio show to do with Laurie. Jesus. What are we going to do? What am I going to talk about?
Yeah, I get that. It's just, this year just feels a little bit different, and I don't know why. Just, it feels, I mean, I had lots of nice synchronicities happen, but at the same time, it just feels a little odd, off, maybe off is the word. Like it's not offline, but it just feels a little delicate, unbalanced a bit. I'm not sure even what the proper wording is, but there's it's a little strange.
Well, I think there's a lot of things going on that can put people off.
Well, that's for sure.
That can get people kind of not in their bodies, not wanting to be in their bodies, not wanting to witness certain things, not wanting to be a part of certain things.
Yeah. Last week kept making me think, it's like, I feel like I'm in one of those really, really bad films where, you know, we're fighting the man, or we're fighting, like, you know, usually the big shows are all about, you know, against the US and how the, you know, the greed and all that stuff. But it was like last week, I just felt like, wow, this is really heavy and feels like we're in a really bad film. It's like, wow, when are we going to get to the end? Because the end is always usually a really positive experience.
Yeah. So do you, this off feeling, do you feel it as heavy? I'm not actually feeling it as heavy. Problematic.
Yes.
But it's not always feeling problematic.
No. 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 Just different. Like it just, yeah. It's hard to explain. I don't really know how to explain. It just feels just slightly off. I mean, last week was just, and I can't even imagine what that poor woman went through, but it feels just like, how did we get here? How did we get here? And there was some woman praising Trump for it's the beginning of the year and we already took a dictator out and now maybe there's hope for Canada. I'm going, wow. I'm not sure that's the way we take out dictators. I'm not sure going into their home and removing them is really the best thing. But, it was never done because of that.
Okay, so I don't have the answer for this. But I feel like even though this is a very troubling time, what's going on with Trump and what's troubling. But I want to just kind of choose the same path.
Yes.
This is happening for us, not to us. So it's okay for me. Like I can remember a couple of times when I'm sitting there with that kind of truth, like the idea that the universe is always only flowing in one direction. It's always only flowing in the direction to rebalance, to scoop things up, to rebalance them, to bring love and light to them. The universe is only operating in that. It's not flipping backwards. Like even when you talk about Mercury reversed, it's like it's the whole wheel of Mercury spin slowing down. It's not reversing. So the universe isn't reversing. And so then you're going, okay, so it's rebalancing something. It's rebalancing things. It's scooping things up and bringing us another opportunity to bring love and light and greater connection and greater divine awareness to situations that have occurred in the past that now we are revisiting.
Right.
So I'm going, wow. So if I'm just going to sit there and be afraid of all of this, and if I'm just going to sit there and be in judgment of all of this, and if I'm not recognizing that this is happening for us, not to us, then I'm not participating in being one of the humans here on the planet that is putting my hands out and welcoming love in and welcoming light in. Oh, so this dictator revisiting opportunity to just bring light in, to bring divine light into this, to bring divine love into this, to put a divine hug on this. And to ask that the divine hug on this be well received. And to release out any agenda that I might be storing within me that is not allowing for it to be well received. This divine hug, this new information.
Right.
And I'm going, okay. So did I say I do that? When these things rose up for us to revisit, did I say I do that? Did I say, yep, I'll choose that? I'll work to choose that. I'll work to not judge it. I'll work to not point at it. I'll work to not be fearful of it. I'll work to choose love and to choose light. And to choose being in my love, in my center of love and in my center of light. Not because I don't care.
Right.
But because I don't want to participate in any way in this repeating itself. I want new.
Right.
I want to create new stuff here.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to create that new stuff from a greater connection to my love, to my light, to my divinity within self.
Yeah, I can feel that.
And I loved when Greg Braden spoke. He was, now I'm going to bastardize it because I don't have the direct translation from the Dead Sea Scrolls. He was reading the direct translation from the Dead Sea Scrolls, and he was reading a small portion of it. And he was talking about, in that translation, humanity going through 7 wars, 3 of them won by darkness and 3 of them won by light. And then the 7th war, where there would be no winning and no losing. The war would end through triumph. And the only way that humanity would triumph is in the reclaiming of the divinity within themselves.
Mm.
And so I went, So, thank you, Greg. Thank you. I like that. What if we're wired for triumph? What if we know that reality within us? Like it's there. And we know it. And we know we can choose it. And we know what it means. And this concept of just looking at all of this and going, well, it'd be really easy to choose a side.
Yeah. Well.
And if I were choosing a side, I'd choose this side. But I don't want to choose a side. I don't want to make this a battle between dark and light. I just don't want to do that. I'm choosing triumph. I'm choosing triumph.
I like that.
So what if we have to have somebody showing up on the planet, more than one person showing up on the planet, who is taking a role, putting on a dark cape and a dark costume, and is playing the role of the dictator repeated, and is playing the role of the Hitler repeated, is playing the role of that, and is literally said, okay, I'm counting on you. I'm counting on you. I am showing up in this role. And I am playing this role. And we are in Ascension now, and I'm counting on you to not judge me. I'm counting on you to recognize that this darkness has purpose. And this darkness is pointing, and this darkness is triggering, and this darkness is opening these things up, and it's getting them to rise up on the desktop. And I'm doing that, and I'm really good at doing that. I'm a master at doing this. But not because I want to win. And I'm remembering Neil Donald Walsh's book, his children's book, The Little Soul in the Sun. And the little soul in the heavens without a body, literally saying to God, in the clouds, I want to understand forgiveness. It doesn't exist here, but I'd really like to feel it. I'd really like to experience it. And the God energy saying, well, you're going to have to find another soul who wants to enter onto the earth plane and give you something to forgive. So, go off and find that soul. And so the little soul finds that soul, finds the soul who's willing to get dark, who's willing to vibrate at a lesser amount, willing to come down on the earth plane to be the soul that this soul is going to be given an opportunity to forgive. And although I'm, again, bastardizing the book, in a portion of the book, the soul that's going to dedicate himself to the darkness is going to dedicate himself to spinning less and vibrating less and getting darker and getting less connected to himself. He literally looks at the soul and says, I only have a concern. I only have one concern, because I'm going to be getting very dark and I'm going to be spinning at a very low vibrational space. I'm making up words because he was doing a much better job of it. And he's looking at that soul and saying, so I'm just a bit concerned that you're going to forget about me. You're going to look me in the eyes and my eyes will have gone dark, and you're just going to forget who I am. And then we'll need another soul. We'll need another soul to come and rescue us both.
Right.
And so I'm just sitting here with that concept. This is happening for us, not to us. And there are people that have taken positions as souls in dark costumes, have a lot of wiring, a lot of expertise, a lot of internal resources to that darkness. And what if they're trusting? What if they're trusting us to not judge them? See, I always said for a long time, it's one of my mandates in my office. If I am going to be judging the person that's sitting in front of me as my client, I'm not the right person to sit with them on that day because I'm not clear enough. And I've got some work to do. And so it's easy for me to find my way to judging Trump. It's so easy for me to find my way to judging a whole bunch of these things. But then I sit there and say, I'm not clear.
Right.
I'm not clear. I'm angry, I'm upset, I'm frustrated, I'm scared, and I'm not clear. How do I know I'm not clear? Because I'm frickin' judging. That's how I know I'm not clear. It's as clear as the nose on my face that I'm not clear. I can hear myself judge. So do I want to be dancing with the judge, which is going to wake up the survival brain and all of the survival mind operating systems? Do I want to sit with the judge and my survival brain? Or do I want to be with myself? So the positive intelligence group would say, do I want to choose my sage?
Right.
Do I want to be with my sage? They don't talk divine. They don't use the word divine. They don't use the word divinity. They speak about the survival brains or the sage of us. And if I'm in that place of judgment, which they have literally said, hey, that's like the first survival brain that wakes up. That's the first one. That's the first jack in the box that pops out is the judge. And of the survival mind. I just want to put that jack in the box back in the box. Say thank you. And desire to connect to my core light. Desire to connect to my sage self. Desire to connect to what I call my divinity.
Yeah.
And be with that. And close the doors with thanks on the survival minds that can really, they can spark up huge from the judge. They can spark up into controller. They can spark up into hypervigilant. They can spark up into victim. They can spark up into avoider, or one of my favorites, protector, or what I was told, great protector. The survival brain that was mine that wasn't just protector, it was great protector.
Right.
And very good at its job.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm choosing. I'm choosing triumph. I'm choosing triumph over judging any of this. I'm choosing a choice that isn't a battle. It's not humanity in a battle. It's saying, I want to end battle. I want to end battle. I want to end the war. I'm choosing triumph. And the only thing that I can really connect with triumph is a recognition that both were necessary. You know, if you've got embedded software that really has not been reconciled and you don't know that you've got embedded software from World War II or the Crimean War or whatever it is, and you just don't know it, you know, what's going to wake you up to knowing it? Something's going to poke at it. Something's going to spark it. Something's going to trigger it. And then what? You're just supposed to keep that going? We're not supposed to keep those stories going. We're in ascension cycle. We're not supposed to keep any of them going.
Well, my thought for this year is that it's really about letting go of the past and just moving forward. And maybe, I don't know, maybe that's what this month has been, was just trying to get me to go, okay, is this what you want to hold on to, or do you want to let this all go and think of it as the past? It's hard sometimes when it hits that it's just, I mean, that poor woman. I can't even, somebody said that the officer was afraid. It's like, what? And they went, how do you think the woman in the car was feeling? Because I'm pretty sure she was terrified. I can't even, yeah, there's so much that you just kind of go, woof.
Well, a lot of fear.
Yeah.
A lot of fear. I mean, I heard some of the dialogue of the woman in the car with her mate, and that to me sounded angry, fierce, upset, but it seemed that all of it was coming not from a place of love. It wasn't coming from a connection to that place. It was coming from fearfulness.
Sure.
Like, we have to put ourselves in this place to stop this because we are that afraid. We are that afraid of what is going on here. We're that afraid of losing our country. We're that afraid of, and so we are stepping forward in this fierceness place to take charge, to say, fuck you, sorry, to just do the giant, no, we're going to stand as some sort of force against this, but it literally is coming from a place of fear.
Sure.
And when we are coming from a place of fear, we're not with love. We're not in connection with that love within us. Like, was she in connection? Were they in that car in connection with their love within themselves, their light within themselves when they designed that plan? When they sat and really were there with that plane, did that come from that divinely guided place? Did they have a divine role here? And I don't think they did. Like, that's been one of my greatest protections over the last 5, 6, or 7 years, is asking that question. Even though it seems like a really good idea to step in, it seems like a really good, do I have a divine role here?
Right.
And if I do have a divine role here, am I doing a good job of being in that?
Mm.
And I honestly think I know when I'm doing a good job of being in that divine role, because I know what it feels like. It flows really nicely. It's like it's just flowing and beautiful and delicious, and it's not exhausting, and it's just like, oh, I'm floating on the wings of angels. I'm just being, and I'm in whatever the experience is that I'm in. But I would question whether the woman and the two women in the cars were following divine role. And I would question whether the men on the outside of that car, as they were shooting or standing or yelling, were in divine role.
Yeah.
I'd question whether anybody was in divine role that was there.
Right.
Meaning in deep connection with the love and light within themselves as they were taking action.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I think it's a really great question to be asking.
Great question. Yeah.
Because there's a lot of reactive ways that I can be, and a lot of things that have been poking at me, bringing me into reaction. And I'm pretty good now with going, oh, I am reacting, and it seems I'm waking up. I'm reacting to something, which means there's something within me. There's something within me that has just been plucked. There's something defined within me. So now what am I doing about that? Oh, I'm out there trying to control you. I got plucked and I'm out there trying to control you. I'm out there trying to make it better out there. Oh, well, do you think before you move to make it better out there, you should maybe deal with the plucked feeling that's within you? Do you think maybe you should give that a divine hug? Do you think maybe you should sit quietly with that plucked feeling before you do anything? Before you go anywhere? Because you just got plucked. Which means there's an imbalance within you, an unresolved thing within you. Maybe it goes back 1,000 years. Is it something to give away? Is that energy that you just got plugged to be fully surrendered? Is it not about healing at all? It's just fully surrendering that. I just got plucked. Here, universe, you have it. It's part of a past that is not fully reconciled. Here you have it, with my desire to have that lifted into light. So it's that serenity prayer, I think, to know what is mine to heal, what is mine to give away, right? Whatever the verbiage is, it's that concept.
Right. Right.
And I honestly think there's a lot right now that is for us to surrender. Yeah. Just to surrender, to give away, which, to your point, releasing the past, letting go of the past.
Yeah.
Had an interesting thing show up in meditation. Oh, it would have been a couple of months ago. The concept of biosignatures. You don't really think about biosignatures, but people die, they have the experience that they have, and then it's imprinted in a biosignature on the earth.
Oh, yes.
Like just like this footprint, like leaving your footprint on the earth. Like, I died here. This was the experience that lives here. This is the energy of this, the biosignature. And because the earth is now flowing so much more in light, there is like really just so much of that has been fixed and it's just flowing. So now you've got this new light. You've got this beautiful light that is no longer in darkness, and it's flowing, and it's now coming into the places where the biosignatures have been held, where the footprints of people who have lived here before, famous or not famous, walked upon this earth, and the light is coming into those biosignatures.
Right.
And lifting them.
That's cool.
Well, it just basically means if you thought that your memory of walking here and dying here and how you died here and feel sorry for me, I was the victim here of World War II and blah, blah, blah. If you think that's going to continue to be remembered just the way it happened, when light's coming in to rebalance it, lift it, move it off the planet.
Nice. Yeah.
Well, it's been interesting. It's, I've had more sessions with people that have passed away that are not paying. They're not paying clients. They're people that have passed away who literally are kind of knocking on the door saying, I'm good. I'm cool. My biosignature's leaving. That's how I learned about this. The biosignature that I left on the planet's leaving. My pain remembered here is leaving. This is impacting them. The light's coming into them. They're close enough to the earth plane, being held in kind of their victimhood or their old story, and they're open to that light coming into them. They're open and like, okay, I'm receiving it. I didn't get it. My biosignature on the planet of the earth was the reflection of my not getting it. This light's coming into the footprint, so to speak, on the earth. It's coming into me. It's impacting me. I'm changing, I'm elevating, even though I didn't want to initially. I was staying stuck where I was. I'm elevating. But could you please help my granddaughter, or could you please help my son or my grandchildren or my because they're still holding on to my remembered pain. They still want it held that way. They still want it all remembered and not forgotten. And this dead person's willing to allow it to be fully released. Just kind of going, could you help them? Because I'm changing. I'm the dead person that began this. And it's the living people that are holding it. It was an interesting thing to see for those times. It was also interesting to see the living people wanting to change things and the dead people holding things from 200 years ago. And you're like, well, it seems like in this ascension cycle, everybody's getting touched. Biosignatures are moving, shifting, changing, dissolving, and everybody is going to be touched, whether they're alive or whether they're not alive, because it's all changing and it's all getting more light brought into it.
Nice.
Is the way I see it. And I'm not getting any kind of spiritual kind of like soft smack along the face, which is kind of like, it's kind of like the Tracy, you kind of got a little wrong, like shush, like shush and let's talk some more. Like I'm not getting that.
No, it feels right. It feels like it's right in alignment with what I kind of picked up that this year was going to be about. So that's very cool. It's a very, because obviously we both see it in our work where people come in and it's like, yeah, you're holding somebody else's stuff. And we do that a lot because we're very good at sponging.
Well, and then there's loyalty and there's bonds and there's tradition and there's, well, this is the way it is. And this is what needs to be remembered because he died for this. Like, I understand it.
Catholic guilt, English guilt, right? Yeah. Like we're really good at all that.
Yeah, but light's coming into all of it.
That's amazing.
And it's not going to stop.
Right.
The ascension cycle is the ascension cycle. We've succeeded at this now as of 2019. We are in change cycle. We are in a change cycle that is just going to continue to change.
And sometimes that means shining a light on something that we don't like, but that's the only way we're going to get through it.
Yeah, but recognizing when the light gets shined on that and you don't like it and it plucks something within you, divinely hug it, bring divine light into it, recognize that that is an unresolved wound within you, allow for that to be lifted into light so you are no longer walking with that wound, allow that story to be fully, the word fully, nothing could be fully healed, fully reconciled until after 2019.
Right.
As I see it, and I'm not getting a spiritual smack about that, there was no fully until then. Now we can fully surrender things. We can fully reconcile things. We can fully lift things into light. We can fully do these things. We can fully be released of the wounds that we've carried for other people that are not even our wounds because we don't know how to define ourselves as a human without saying we're walking here wounded. It's an interesting concept.
Mm-hmm.
So if we actually bring healing to the wound that was our wound, are we then just collecting up a wound from somebody else because you don't get to be human without one?
Right.
And maybe that's the way it was. Maybe that's the way it was for centuries. Just humans in pain, humans wounded, humans messy,
mm-hmm.
humans disconnected.
Right.
Humans operating here, walking here, being here, making choices here with next to no connection to that divinity within themselves.
Yeah.
So making choices, running corporations, opening small businesses, taking care of families, and where's the presence of that divinity, that God within, that guiding force from within? Where is that?
Right.
And are people drawing from that? What the positive intelligence people would call sage self? Or are all these decisions being made from a deep and intimate connection with survival mind? So.
Yeah. But I do think that question that you asked when I was going off about is this my divine role in this? That's the question I got to keep asking myself.
Right.
Right.
And a desire to be in divine role. A desire to literally be in divine role. I can remember that it was a couple of months into the pandemic, so to speak. It was April of that 2020 year, and I'm walking the dog with my husband. He's a little bit farther up than I am. And I'm literally having this counsel session with my guides kind of coming in. And one of them saying, Tracy, you have become exceedingly good. You are incredibly good at holding divine role when you're working with your clients. You are incredibly good at that. Now, would you like a more expanded exercise? And I'm answering back, I don't know. What are you thinking? And the answer comes back to be in divine role all the time, to make a choice to be in divine role all the time, not just when you're with your clients. And I was just like, oh, so I just sat with that. And then not really kind of just sat with that. Then that same guidance comes back and says, and just to let you know, you're going to fail at this more than you're going to succeed. And I'm like, oh, great. So I have this teaching career that's just collapsed. So half of my income is gone. Half of what I do for any living seems to be gone right now. And you're giving me a job that seems to be a rather expanded job where I'm going to fail more than I'm going to succeed. Well, and I'm just sitting here thinking about this. And then I remember literally answering back to that voice, oh, well, what else am I going to be doing right now? What the fuck? Let's go. And that was exactly the way I started that. And it was very interesting for the first couple of weeks to just watch myself in divine role and how quiet I was. How much I was just in a role, meeting people on the street and not really saying, of course I'm saying hi, and not quiet because I'm afraid of germs or just quiet because that's it. My role is one of quiet right then, just letting them talk and letting whatever be said. And I thought and then realizing what were the things that were sparking up and triggering that were pulling me out of divine role. And it was always about injustice. If I got a sniff of injustice in those first couple of months when I was in that divine role, oh my goodness, I was off, but I didn't know I was off. I thought I was in divine role. I was going to write those letters to the government. I was going to do this. I was going to do. And then there was one time when it was like 10 days into this. And I just sat quietly and I said, so I'm in divine role, right? And I got an instantaneous no.
Right.
And I'm like, what do you mean? Like I'm moving along. I'm taking care of business. And I got a real wake up call. No, you're not in divine role. Right. You might be doing a good job of what you're doing here, writing these letters, sending out this, but you're not in divine role. And I'm going, oh. And then it really just came into a real understanding of more healing, reconciling, light coming in to the me that literally sparked off reactively in judgment in the presence of what I perceived as injustice. And then my willingness to bring more balance to that, bring more clarity to that, and bring more peace to some times in my world within me where injustices had occurred and they were not divinely helped.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was, I just think it's a really good thing to remember divine role.
Yep. I'm going to put it somewhere and stamp it maybe on my forehead.
Well, but it is good when you see yourself, and you will, I know, because you're very awake. When you see yourself reacting and then you're taking action on something that you're reacting to, that's when you want to stop and say, okay, wait a minute, hold on, recognize I'm reacting. I want a divine hug to this. And what I'm just about to step into, is that a divine role? or did I just give myself that? Yeah, it's it's an interesting journey.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
It does quiet things, though. It does quiet things. It does really regulate the nervous system more to walk that journey of divine hugs to the reactivity. And the intention to give permission to yourself, to the body, to your beingness to receive in those divine hugs. That's your desire, that the divine hugs would be received in, and any agendas that might be operating from within you or me that would not be allowing that, and that would be overriding that desire for that divine hug, meaning that sage to come in, that you want those released and lifted into light. Almost like you, me, we're not kidding around. We're not kidding around. We want sage help. We want divine help. We want greater clarity. We want our reactivities rebalanced. We want to step into divine role, and we want to step out when we are taking actions that are irresponsible or really negative to our nervous system and to our bodies and to our beingness, even though we might not recognize it. Which to me is like greater care for ourselves. Mm-hmm. Like not so willing to sacrifice us for the cause, whatever the cause is.
Right. Right. And then we're in the flow.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That whole question of divine role really is that. It's like, that's us in flow. So yeah, circling back to the beginning.
Yeah. I knew we weren't just going to talk about that, but we talked about a lot today. A lot. So I think this is a good place to end, and a good place to be grateful, and let's really focus on being in divine flow and letting go of some of the past that we're holding on to. So,
yeah, and choosing triumph.
Choosing triumph.
And choosing the choice of triumph.
Yeah, I like that.
Rather than winning and losing.
Right.
Yeah, I like it too.
All right. You've been listening to News for the Heart. We're beginning the heart of what matters with Tracy McBurney. Flow, choosing triumph. I love it. All right. We'll be back next month. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Love you.
You too.